Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Diamond on Colonist.io 1v1. On today's board, we have the second pick, and the ore is in a kind of precarious spot with a 5 and 8 together and 11 being on its own. So, taking your guys' knowledge into account, if I were playing as red, I think the 5-8-10 with the 6-9-5 seems the best. Now, our opponent opts to go for this setup instead, which essentially is trying to say that they're going to get a wood and a brick on their second roll. But what I want to do here is I want to try and minimize their position as much as I can. That being said, it's not particularly easy to do so. So what I might do is I don't want to neglect sheep, and I definitely don't want to neglect ore. I think the 5-8-10 doesn't give me enough juice for the other options on the board, especially with this spot being taken now. So maybe I take the 8-4-3 right to get to the 6-3-11, and I would have to pair that then with maybe like the, oh wow, I hate this position for pick 2. Not an easy one. All right, 8-4-3. I suppose I'm going to go right. And it looks like it would take like this spot, which just doesn't feel great. But I also don't want to start wheatless. I mean, the 5-4-11 is also not a great pick. I suppose I could take the 6-9-3. I think for sake of spots, this is probably not the correct pick. I'm going to take the 11-5-4, trying to get to this 6-3-11 as quickly as I can. That does require me to get 2 3s, which is just not what I was hoping for. But we're going to see what we can do. And if it happens that, I have to port down for that, then so be it. So we have a city. I'm going to actually just go ahead and city now. Of course, the 7 comes out. And they don't want to self-block the 3 because that's their only source of wood as well. And they block the 8, which I don't mind that they block the 8 here. There's our 11. And if I build a road, I think I'm choreographing myself a little bit too much. But they rely on the same wood source that I need. So I'm going to place the road. There's a 3. And a little bit of the risk pays off as I do get the spot. So I'm going to pass. The 8 block is definitely not going to feel real nice. But what I might need to do here is I can try and carve out some space. Ideally, I would have another wood to do this, though. There's another 8 block. And they're definitely ahead in the dev game. There's no doubt about that one. Seven comes out finally for me. I think I'm going to block the 5 ore. And I no knight. Talk about some not great rolls. I suppose I'm going to come this way. I'm really needing a 3 roll here. And they do get to their first port. I'm going to take this moment. I'm going to port down for a wood and go ahead and place a settle. I don't think it's the best settle on the board, but it at least gets me something. That does allow for a second city. And I think here, ideally, I don't necessarily need a ton more wheat with where we're at. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and place the city here. 7 comes out. Let's block the 9. We'll dev once, and we do get a knight, which gives us at least a little control. Back on the 9 it goes. And once again, we'll dev. We get a VP. Now an 8 here would give me 2 devs, which would be fantastic. A 3 I'm not mad at, though. Very valuable hand. They have a mono. There they go. They take the wood. And they're going to cut the road. All right, now with them cutting the road, and I have 2 cities down, I'm going to start fighting them on devs. So we get a knight and a road builder. The classic 7 double steal. Block the 9. I guess block the 5. Get another dev. We get a knight. And what I'm probably going to need to use this road builder for is to get onto a good port. Alternatively, I could use it to try and get to this 692. But I think getting a port first is going to be more important. So before I forget about it, the best port for us to go to, well, our road is almost cut. So I'm going to hold in hopes that we can get maybe a 3. Of course, 7 comes out. At least they get a brick. I'll place it over here. I'm looking for a 3 because if I can get enough roads, I can actually go ahead and cut them off. Now, that's not going to be the case in this situation. Now, being at 10 cards, I suppose I'm going to take the more valuable settle spot. And like I said, if I can get a 3, I actually get 3 roads here, which would be fantastic. I think it makes sense to dev down. Maybe we'll grab a brick. We get a knight. There's the mono for all the brick. Yep. There's the road. Once they place a settle, our road connect no longer matters. So that's a series of unfortunate events right there, but not a whole lot we can do to prevent it. 6 comes out. Can we get another 6? Man, they're going to play heavy on the devs, aren't they? Here, I like the idea of holding for a city. I expect that they have a knight. And they've been going pretty hard in the dev, so let's go ahead. Let's keep a little bit of dev pressure on. I still don't hate this position for us, but it's not a particularly easy one for us to win. Now the coordinated 5s is obviously going to hurt. And the more 7s that they get is also not going to feel real great. But that does give us, we have 3 devs versus a city. Oh gosh, what to do. I think the 3 devs is more helpful here. I really do. Let's do it. We dev once, we get a VP. We dev again, we get a knight. We dev a 3rd time, we get a road builder. I like that. So we can actually road build up or road build down. I think probably doubling the 6 gives us more. Alternatively, I could come over here for the wood port, but I don't think we make enough wood for that to be actually that feasible. And maybe I have some small ideas here of rolling around and stealing the road at the last minute. Highly unlikely, but there's a chance. 10 comes out. There's a 9. Can we see a 6? Or an 11? Suppose not. I'm going to use the wood. Let's go ahead and dev. We get a yop, which is not bad. Now the yop here, we could use it for a settle. I think we'll get our settle materials anyways. Getting to 12 puts us immediately there. Also, we have 6, 7, 8 knights. I'm going to go ahead and use this actually for the city and pass. Maybe a slightly questionable play, especially with our opponent going super hard in the devs. But here, I'm going to grab a brick, put that settle on down so we do get to use the 3 for 1. And if I can pull one more knight card, that would actually be super ideal because then we lock army. A VP, we're at 14, which does give us a second win condition. Now, do we have win in hand? We do have a city. That's 3 for 1 for an ore. We'll save the 6 port, and that gives us GG's. So, thank you to everyone for watching. That does make us 3 wins in the game in the season so far. Out of the 4 games that we played, the 4th game I played offline. So, if you guys enjoy the content, you can also come find me over on twitch.tv/TristanBrown17, where I also stream chess and gaming content. And on that note, I will see you guys on the next episode.